Hi, Mike here, and I'm gonna give you the performance review on the Lightning 4. So let's get started. Alright, so right off the bat, I'm just gonna go over his traction. Its traction actually held pretty well outdoors. A wiping here and there was needed, but not too much. And another thing, I actually used them on a court that simulates playing indoors, kind of, because basically it's a bunch of mats put together. Basically, how when you see before a game when they're setting up the courts, like way before, how they're putting it piece by piece. That's basically how it is, just with mats. It's kind of like a big puzzle piece. It's kind of weird, and it's basically just either like some sort of hard rubber or plastic, so you're just not landing on concrete. And the thing is, that court is notorious for just basically having anybody who plays it just slip. One of the people that I play with, uh, he ended up, I think, slipping 4 times in a game the last time I played there. And I was pretty scared because even though I played in this on that court, like I think it was like 3 days before, and it held up really well. I actually didn't even slip. Um, there was just still that thought because I've slipped in my Kobe's and everything on that court. So, I went the whole day playing in this without wiping, and it was fine. So, I think it's just like a breaking in period, and I think since I did most of my breaking in outdoors, I think that's what helped me out because I know when I first started, when I played in this indoor gym for volleyball, when I was doing suicides and everything, I did notice that it was picking up dirt pretty, or all the dust pretty fast. And the thing is, which is bad because that court just has dirt everywhere, and I think it needs to be refinished. So, but then I brought it back. I think I want to say like a week later, and I wore it for like 3 days straight, and it did pretty well. I did have to wipe in the beginning, but for some reason, like after that 1 hour mark, it just worked totally fine. I'm not saying that it has great traction like in the Kyrie threes. It's good, and when dust is present, it is above average traction. So you are gonna feel like a little bit of a sliding effect, but not to the point where you think you're skiing or ice skating or whatever. So, it's just gonna be that tiny little, what's it called? That tiny little slide that most of us experience with basketball shoes, anyways. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But in on those cases where if there is dust, just make sure you do maintain some wiping, like probably every 5 minutes if you have to. And if you self-consciously do it anyways, this shoe is gonna be okay for you. So yeah. So now for its upper. Its upper is they're calling it a textile upper, and for me it's just basically just mesh with some fuse all over it, including on the toe cap area. As for durability, I'm pretty sure this is gonna last you. I don't see any tearing at all with the time I put in, and most of it I did outdoors. And the thing is, I dive a lot, even if it is outdoors. Probably explains a lot of the injuries that I do tend to get. But with all the diving and everything, there's still no tearing or wear shown on the shoe. So if you get it and you're worried about it, tearing up, I think you should be fine. The material is still pretty strong, even though it does allow for uh, a pretty good amount of movement actually. Like if you can tell right here, and this is with like 2 hours of breaking time. It was like after 2 hours, it should feel around this, and then after that, it just tends to soften up a little bit more. So yeah, ability of this, I'm not gonna lie. For me, it got pretty warm in this shoe. I don't know if because in the beginning when I was playing in it, I was playing in the out in the sun in the beginning, and then I switched to I think it was my Dame fours. Um, but it's not to the point where it's gonna get too uncomfortable. It's not gonna feel like if you played in the Kyrie threes, it's not gonna feel like that. So you're gonna be okay. It's not gonna feel like the Kobe AD mids, and I was able to withstand those no problem. So just not the most breathable one. Now, for its lockdown and stability and support, because I know that was one of the another question that was asked on my overview on how does the support feel for the ankle, because this person I think rolled their ankle when he was playing in a low, so he was looking for highs. I just want to say, high top doesn't mean good ankle support. You could play in a low and you'll just be fine. You could be playing in a high and roll it, and it's gonna be a lot worse in that one because it restricts your ankle so much, so it doesn't allow for the natural roll to happen. I prefer playing in lows, but I can see why you would want to play in a high. It's just like a mental thing, and if that's the case, like I'm never gonna dog someone for that. So, let's just get to the support, stability, everything. So, as you see here, there's web loops, and if you ever played in a Nike shoe, so as you see here, there's some web loops. Well, that's what they're calling it. Just think about it like Nike Flywire. So basically what it does is, as you're tying your shoe, you can actually feel it secure your midfoot area. So it kind of eliminates any wobbling you may feel your foot have in the footbed. I actually didn't experience any of it. And the thing is, I do have a narrow foot, so if you're narrow footed, this should be fine. Wide footers, I think you should be okay as well, but always try it on before. Alright, and another good thing about this shoe is this outrigger right here. I had never actually felt that I was going to tip over and roll my ankle in this shoe. And this did a pretty good job of keeping me balanced. Never felt myself feel like I was tipping over at any point. Never felt this motion here while running. So, this did a really good job of keeping me grounded. Now, as for this, if you really like, it hugging your ankle, this does a really good job of it. What it does is, when you tie it at the top, it does bring your foot all the way to the back and it keeps it there. But, if you do, like I was saying before, if you do like freedom of motion with your ankle, but you still want something there to, to cover it, this is going to do a good job of it. Because as I was showing you before, the materials do move pretty well. Even when I put it on, at the beginning I felt it, like probably in the first 30 minutes, or not even the first 30 minutes. When I first put this shoe on, I did feel it, but I was moving with it. I didn't even notice it was like the cut was that high until I would go to wipe my shoe or something. So it's a good feeling because it still pushes your foot or your ankle back. It maintains it there, but it doesn't feel too restrictive and it allows a good range of motion for a high. And then the heel counter here does a good job of keeping your heel there, eliminating any sort of heel slippage. I didn't experience any of it here, even though it's a pretty high cut shoe, but I never felt my heel go above this portion here, so that's good. And now for the cushion. When I first got this, I actually thought it was Micro G, and I was so excited because the last time I used Micro G was probably in the Clutch Fit Drive 1. And I forgot I was actually reading a description for a different shoe. I think it's called the UA NXT or something like that. So basically, it's just EVA midsole. Nothing too amazing. But what it does have is an EVA sock liner in the shoe. So basically, what your foot rests on when you put on the shoe, which does help with the cushioning. The thing is, this was firm, but not too firm. It was like a softer firm, if that's like the best way I can describe it. Because the thing is, even though it is a responsive ride, it's not too responsive. You can actually feel cushion. You feel more of the cushion than the floor, but not too much that you feel too slowed down. So, if you were afraid this was going to be like the Kyrie 3s, not a chance. Because I recently played in the Kyrie 3s and I forgot how low to the ground those were and basically how you just feel the floor. Not a problem with these. I actually was really surprised with how well the cushion was for this, how well it was responsive, but also giving me what's it called, the impact protection that I wanted. Not once did I have my feet hurt or my knees hurt in these, and I have bad knees. So yeah, so it actually really surprised me. You know, if you like the low to the ground feel without feeling the ground, I think this is gonna be a cushion setup that you're gonna like. So in regards to fit, just go true to size. If for some reason they only have a half a size up, I think you're gonna be okay wearing these because how well it contains your foot and pushes it back, and it doesn't allow for you to be sliding in the shoe. So yeah, if that's the case, you should be fine. So yeah. So so my final thoughts. My final thoughts on the shoe is it's a pretty good shoe. If you could get it below 100, go for it. At 100, like if you're just buying it at full price, I wouldn't recommend it just because there's so many other options that are on sale right now, such as the PG ones. But the thing is, if you want to wear a high, I would, this wouldn't be a bad option. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of a high top that's like $100 right now because I'm more into the lows. So yeah, like if you got this, you saved up, and you know what, you had like $60. You saw this for that price. You decided to go buy it. I don't think you'd be too upset with your purchase. Because I was able to get it for $60 because I was able to get $40 off the shoe. And honestly, I thought it was, it, like you just want to shoot a ball in or something cheap that's gonna be able to take everything that you're gonna put into it. This is gonna be an okay shoe for you. Like I got what I paid for, and it actually blew what my expectations were for the shoe. Because I thought it was just gonna be bad traction, like I think it was not the long shot, but is it the fire shot? I forget which one of those UA shoes it was that had bad traction. But this one had good traction, and it still was able to hold up with the dust that was present. Just maintain your wiping and you should be good. So yeah, so see you guys in the next video. I'm probably gonna be putting out the LeBron 15 and then the Dame 4. This one was late because I had to do like actually like 7 different recordings. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, see you guys next time.